Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation Team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show here on a glorious Tuesday afternoon. Jake, you're skipping out of the last part of the show today. Why is that? What is going on, my friend?
I got to run down to a local restaurant and pay off a bet to Kenny Wilhite, who's coming in for a buck in the black shirt for K-Dub Tuesdays. He won the bracket challenge, and therefore I owe him a burger.
You owe him a burger. How'd you do in the bracket challenge? What'd you finish?
Not too bad. I would have beat Kenny, in fact, if Duke didn't mess it up and lose to UConn at the last second there. So, I mean, altogether not too well. None of us did well, but we had a little challenge, and we all picked Arizona to win the title. That didn't happen, so nothing to brag about. But one of us had to win, and Kenny finished higher than myself and Terrell. So.
The old coulda, woulda, shoulda, huh?
Yeah.
All right, it happens. Don't worry. We did a family tournament bracket for March Madness. My twin daughter, Desi, who was the least into sports. In fact, she did the bracket with our dog, Rocky. It's Desi. No, she put Desire in Rocky's March Madness tournament. Remember the dog that, I think is kind of a little bit of a wonderful turd. And when you call the dog over and he walks over and gets within 2 inches of you and then just walks away half the time, what would you call that kind of dog?
Well, if he doesn't have a hearing problem, then yeah.
No, he knows. He looks right at you. He walks over. And sometimes he comes all the way, and sometimes he turns around. He does it to everybody. It's just like who he is. Anyways, Desi and Rocky won our NCAA tournament challenge. So I finished top 8. There's 8 people in our house. I think I was actually like 4th or 5th. But all right, so you got to pay off your debt, so you'll be out. Are you guys calling Nick Wyman the Wyminator? When did that start, by the way?
That I might have just started here. It's not me. That was Terrell calling him that. I like it, though. I'll call him the Wyminator.
The Wyminator. I like it, but it also makes me think whiner, whiner,
yeah.
Wyman. I don't know. All right. We'll see if it sticks or not. One of the top recruits in the entire country, Ahmad Hudson, is a guy who has shown legit long-term interest in Nebraska football. Came to the Battle of the Boneyards last summer, won it, was on Trey Taylor, future Nebraska quarterback, was on his 7-on-7 group. They won the Battle of the Boneyard. They're going to be doing it again this summer. I assume Trey's going to be there. I assume Ahmad's going to be. I've not confirmed any of this. I just assume they're going to be there. But they're doing the Battle of the Boneyards again, which, again, I like. You get all the top recruits in the entire country. You get them to Lincoln. You get them to Memorial Stadium. Because the hardest part with a lot of these guys is just getting them here. Very rarely does somebody come here and walk away disappointed. It's just getting them here. Get them here, get them on campus, get them around the facilities, get them around the great people in Nebraska. And 19 times out of 20, 95% of the time, they are going to walk away with the University of Nebraska on their radar going forward. So Ahmad Hudson has narrowed down his finalists of where he's going to play college football and basketball. Basketball. He's the number one tight end recruit in the entire country, 5-star, number 11 player overall in the nation, number 2 player coming out of the state of Louisiana. He's narrowed it down to Nebraska and Lane Kiffin U, otherwise known as LSU, Louisiana State University. And so if he goes to LSU, is he doing football and basketball? Because I know if he comes to Nebraska, there's that's kind of expected. Is that wherever he goes?
Yeah, that's what he's looking for.
Man, it's not very often. Now, I know Kennedy Williams, Amy Williams' daughter, plays on the softball team, plays on the basketball team. It's not very often you see multi-sport athletes just with kids anymore. But that's a topic for another day, let alone going into post-high school play. But dude, you look at, I already kind of mentioned his accolades in football. And here are some of the reports on him. 6'7", 200, 240 was the last time I looked. Is that still, what do you got him at there, Jake?
Yeah, I think 235, 240.
So that's the last time I looked, and yeah, it seems to be the same still. But what you're looking at is basketball acumens as well, which we'll get into in a second. We'll start with the football side of it, then we'll go to basketball. It's very impressive in basketball as well. Like, he premiered as one of the top 20 recruits in the entire country in basketball. You look at football. Here's what it says. Supersized tight end with uncommon frame and athleticism combination. A matchup nightmare in the passing game with the ability to stretch the field and work the short to intermediate level. Instinctive in the air with late adjustment skill and body control. Owns extensive experience at receiver, inline tight end, and the H-back. Now, this is what I was wondering about. All right. Convicted blocker with immense potential. When you hear that, convicted blocker with immense potential, what does that mean to you?
That sounds awesome. That sounds like he's already into blocking and has a lot of upside toward it.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever heard anyone ever be described as a convicted blocker before. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Convicted blocker with immense potential. So I'm with you. It sounds like, obviously, the pass catching side of things. Lots of experience as a wide receiver, great body control, 6'7", the ability to spread the field. Like, if you've got a young quarterback, or if you've got a quarterback at all, and he's in a tough situation, you know what he's going to look for? He's going to look for the guy that's 6'4", 6'5", or 6'7", because it's a matchup nightmare for defenses. And a lot of times that can be his safety net, regardless of how young or old or good or struggling the quarterback might be. You throw it up to a guy like that, 9 times out of 10, something's going to go well. But a convicted blocker means he's bought into blocking with immense potential. So there's room for growth. So maybe he's not the best blocker at this moment in time. Now, I'm going to put it out there. I've not watched a ton of film of him blocking. It wasn't the first thing that came on my radar. But when you read that, he's bought into blocking and has immense potential to get better from where he's currently at. We look at the hoop side of things. Legitimate high major hoops prospect. Excellent second jump athleticism on the basketball floor that aids in ball winning ability in pads as well. The crossing over between football and basketball here. One of the elite pass catching threats in the 2027 class. All right. You look at basketball. He has hoops offers from Nebraska, LSU. There you go. There's the answer to the question. All right. Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, Missouri, Ole Miss, Louisiana Tech, Grambling, and the like. He was the, 5A MVP as a sophomore after averaging 21 points per game, 14 rebounds per game, 3 boards per game, scored 30-plus points in 2 games, and also had a standout performance in their playoffs, had 15 rebounds in their last game. All right, he has participated already in the Navy All-American game. You look a little bit more at the basketball side of things. A top 20 player in the country for the 2027 class, as I mentioned, the number 1 overall tight end. All right, let's see. He went from an unranked prospect in basketball about a year and a half ago, because about 6 months ago when I looked this up, he was in the top 40 to now he's in the top 20 and the number 4 power forward overall. Again, a top 20 prospect in both sports, number 11 in football, top 20 in basketball. And here's what he had to say, and I quote, "It feels great to know that the work I put in as a kid is finally paying off and people are able to see it." He averaged nearly 21 points a game last year and 14 rebounds, 3 blocks per game as a junior. That's well into the double-doubles. Like, well into the double-doubles. There are certain kids you watch, and you're like, man, the kid is a really good player, but at the next level, really, really good high school player, but you look at the projection to the next level, and you're like, there's a bit of a ceiling there. There are some guys you watch in high school, and they're incredibly talented. Now, I define talent as the ability to do great things. It doesn't guarantee you a high floor. In fact, your floor could be just as low as anyone else's, but the ceiling you have is higher. To me, talent is the athleticism, the God-given ability that you have. Once you have it, how do you develop it, refine it, and get better over time? You watch some guys in high school, and they're absurdly talented, and you can see the insane high ceiling. You can also see the insane low floor because they're not refined at all yet. When you look at Ahmad Hudson, I just look at his refinement compared to other high school prospects. It's as good as anybody you're going to see in football, which is why I've watched him more. A little bit in basketball is pretty impressive as well, to be honest with you. But then you factor in the athleticism, you factor in, and they even said the body control. That's what stood out to me. It's not just that he's 6'7". It's not that he can jump. It's the fact that when the ball's in the air and he's in the air battling for the ball with defenders, he's got the height advantage 19 times out of 20, 95% of the time. But his ability to control the ball, twist, contort his body, get his hands on the ball, bring it in. Way more often than not, it's very impressive on the football field. On the basketball court, very explosive, very athletic. He is someone, wherever he goes, whether it's LSU, whether it's Nebraska, he's going to help impact their football program. He's going to help impact their basketball program. There's some guys, like I played against two guys in high school, actually, who committed to play 2 sports in college. One individual you've never heard of. I'm just going to be blunt. He failed twice. He was 20 years old as a senior. I was actually a young senior, so I was 17 when I played against him when he was 20 in football and guarded him in basketball. And I looked at him, and I'm just like, he committed to play football and basketball at UW, University of Washington, Seattle. And I remember telling my teammates, I was like, I could be wrong. I just don't see it with this guy. 2 years later, I never heard from him again. I don't know what happened. I never saw him on TV in either sport, so I imagine it just didn't work out. The other guy that I played against in high school, you're going to have heard of this guy, Nate Robinson, the 3-time NBA slam dunk champion. Now, I didn't play against him in basketball. Our Washington State All-Star football game, I've talked about this before, not in extensive detail. Do you remember me just mentioning this before?
Yeah.
So it was East versus West. He was from the Seattle side of the state of Washington. I was from the east side. Again, that's where there's a desert, although nobody ever believes me until they see it. But it was East versus West. So all week we're there practicing. They're there practicing. We're staying at the same hotel. Dude does not lack for confidence. I'll never forget before the game in full pads, he's doing backflips from one end of the end zone to the other. I remember being struck by 3 things. Number 1, the ridiculous amount of confidence he had. Number 2, the amount of insane athleticism that he had. And then when the game turned on, I was like, dang, he's like legit good. He's like legit good. And so he went to UW, played both football and basketball. It was either 1 or 2 years. Can you double check me on the football side of things? It was either 1 or 2 years in football. Obviously, he continued to play basketball well into a very, very good NBA career, winning multiple slam dunk competitions. You could see in those slam dunk competitions, he's smaller. He's absolutely smaller, but the ridiculous hops and the vertical leap and the athleticism. But I will never forget, because I've never seen anyone else do it, in full pads with a helmet on, starting at one end of the end zone. It's 53 1/3 yards wide a football field is. And he's just doing backflips in the pregame warmups. And I'm just like, wow, that's redonkulous right there. Was it 1 or 2 years he played football?
He played 1 year, but he did start at cornerback.
So he started as a true freshman.
Yeah.
See, when he committed to play both sports, I was like, eventually he's going to have to pick one. I'm just going to be real. His size was going to, it's an extra hurdle that he was going to have to deal with in both sports. And eventually he was going to have to pick one. But I remember saying he can pick whichever one he wants to do. Whichever one he chooses. So he started as a true freshman at corner. I knew he played a lot in return kicks. Yeah. So you start on the football team as a true freshman at corner. And then you go on to have however long you played in the NBA career. Like, it was true freakish athleticism. So you watch certain guys, and sometimes you're like, man, they're really, really good, but the ceiling is limited when they get past high school. You watch some other guys, you're like, man, they're really, really talented, but they're so raw. Like the ceiling might be high, but can they catch up to where other people are that are just as talented? If they can zoom past them, but can they catch up? And then every once in a while, you see someone you watch. And for me, it was Nate Robinson. I'm like, I don't know if he can continue to do both. I'm just like, he is shorter with the lack of height. I mean, eventually he was going to have to refine his skills in one or the other. But I remember saying he could pick one or the other. Ain't going to matter. And then, he starts as a true freshman at corner for UW, and then he goes on to play in the NBA for a long time. I watch Ahmad Hudson. Now, he's built very different, 6'7", not the same size as Nate. Ridiculous athleticism and explosiveness. Not quite the same hops because Nate's, rare and unique and special. But I watch Ahmad. He's got the appropriate level of refinement. He's got the appropriate level of insane athleticism to where I legit think, now, can he handle the day in and day out grind year over year, time after time? Some guys have shown they can do it. Some ladies have shown they can do it. But he's got what it takes to be a successful football player and basketball player in college based on my world-renowned, or at least in my own head, evaluation. What are your thoughts here, Jake?
Well, you're not the only one evaluating it that way, at least because of the rankings that he has. Like you said, top 20 in both sports, basically, for the class of 2027. So it'd be huge for Nebraska. A reminder, we're not talking about the upcoming year. Still has a senior year ahead of him. So there is that to consider if you're thinking about immediately the Nebraska basketball team next year with the Price Stanford news, that sort of stuff. It'd be another year away. But it is exciting both to get, that type of talent in the building, the opportunity to get a two-sport athlete. It's been a while since Nebraska, like you said, there are pockets where you can kind of see it, but not as big as it used to be. And I know he's moving up his commitment date too, here in the spring. So there's still going to be some time, and that's part of it is when you got this whole, he's in his junior season now, going to commit likely before his junior season is over, going to have his senior season. So, as I just always tell people, just hold on, right? Yep. One way or the other. If he commits to LSU, doesn't mean Nebraska's all the way out of it. If he commits to Nebraska, still gonna have to wait and see how things happen. But definitely the potential wherever he goes to be among the favorite, a fan favorite because of, you'd see him in two sports, but also just the impact for both coaches here. Now I have seen, and again, he's down to LSU, Nebraska. He had his top 6, I think, before. Now it's narrowed down to 2. Good to be in that conversation. I think all along, though, LSU has kind of been, because the in-state, now factoring Lane Kiffin and what did they say, $40 million roster, that sort of stuff. Might be tough to overcome, but he's been right there. Again, Trey Taylor, a big part of this with Nebraska all along. So I'm just kind of holding my breath here because this would be, Nebraska's got, like, for basketball's conversation, right? They've got 2 top 100 guys coming in. They're kind of back of the top, 100. Not that that's a bad thing. That's good to be in that conversation. But this is a top 20 kid, again, in both sports. So has the potential to be a national story pretty quickly. Again, you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but special talent.
You look at the 2028 class, not 2028, my gosh, 2026 class we just had. Not exactly large, highly ranked, not going to blow you away, right? I remember thinking, well, I wonder if those resources are going to the portal class. Now, we brought in some good portal players. No question about that. And guys are going to make an impact. But our previous class, the previous year was, if you're going to go by rankings, way higher rated, not even close, okay? So you look around, you're like, all right, I know they spent a lot of money retaining guys. There's been a report they spent about $25 million on this year's upcoming roster. So they spent a lot of money retaining guys, which had to be priority number 1. But if you're trying to budget the money you have and maximize the money you have, I can't help but wonder, because you brought up LSU in home state. I mean, you got Lane Kiffin, $40-50 million rosters that Ohio State, Texas, LSUs are now playing with. I mean, LSU, my gosh, they had 3 of the top 5 portal players. They had 5 of the top 50 portal players. I mean, they went all in on the portal. So they're spending the moolah. They're not hesitating. If you're a place like Nebraska and you're trying to be resource conscious, all right, maybe we'll have a smaller 2026 class because they're clearly swinging for the fences with this 2027 class. And what I'm getting at is where LSU is spending all this money seemingly on everything every year. Like at some point, I'm not saying their well's going to run dry, but it's not just never-ending resources. I can't help but wonder if Nebraska said, you know what? We're going to go really all in on this 2027 class with a guy like Ahmad Hudson in mind. And maybe that gives us that real legit opportunity. Obviously, it's legit. It's us and LSU at this point. And he's going to declare, like you said, pretty soon. But my point is, I feel like that gives us a real shot because I would imagine, I know he wants to play with Trey Taylor. I know he likes a lot of things about Nebraska. All right. And I can't help but wonder if they put a lot of resources into getting certain guys that they knew they wanted that could be big-time impact players. And if you're Nebraska, you're looking at a guy like Ahmad, you're like, he can help us in 2 sports. And so I wonder how much that factors in. What are your thoughts on something like that, Jake?
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely a route to that, and some truth behind it. I think that was kind of with Raiola, and I don't know if that's it didn't turn out the way Nebraska fans wanted it to necessarily as a whole, but I think that's kind of what helped him is you go to Ohio State, you go to Georgia, you're a big time recruit, but you're just kind of one of everybody else, right? I mean, everybody is. You go to Nebraska, Ahmad Hudson would be the guy, right? I mean, he'd be an absolute star here. So kind of depends on what you're looking for, in that category. I think, especially with these 2 teams finally come down to it, I think it's worth mentioning and monitoring. I remember even asking Tim Miles about that a long time ago, even with Nebraska, if that could be a recruiting pitch. And he said, absolutely. Yeah. That's something that some kids are drawn to.
You look at the tight end room for Nebraska. A year from now, it's wide open. Like if Ahmad wanted to come in and contribute, he's going to want to come in and contribute, but like legit compete for a starting job right away. It's wide open. There's other guys in that room. Let's be clear. Don't forget about guys like Carter Nelson. I know Lindenmeyer is going to start this year, but a year from now, it's going to be wide open. And Holgorsen has mentioned to me in the past, he likes a 12 offense. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends. So if you have another guy, I mean, I'm still waiting for Carter Nelson to just show what he can do because we know his ceiling is high. What if you had a combo at some point after this season of like a Carter Nelson, Ahmad Hudson, or however it plays out in a 12 personnel? Okay. I'm going to throw something out there because it's what popped in my head. I'm not saying anybody's Gronkowski. I'm not saying anybody's Aaron Hernandez on the football field, but the Patriots killed people with 12 personnel because they had 2 really good athletic tight ends. Obviously a pretty good guy throwing the ball too. But my point is, I know for a fact that Dana Holgorsen loves 12 personnel because it creates an extra gap in the running game for the defense. It creates mismatch problems all over the place if you can get the right guys. So that's got to be a recruiting pitch to Ahmad Hudson. And if I'm looking at the basketball team, it's a situation where a lot of places he can go and make an impact right away. Nebraska would be no different. And now you're looking at Nebraska basketball. I'm Ahmad Hudson. I'm like, wait, that's a team that can make a tourney run again. So, and back me up on this or call me out. How many times have you heard me talk about a specific player that we're recruiting this way? How many times?
Not often. I mean, maybe Trey Taylor, but not,
That's it. That's it. Like I've never, and nobody's a guarantee. Nobody's a slam dunk. Okay. But when you watch him, he's as impressive as any high school tight end I've seen in 10 years. So we'll see what happens. And it doubles in excitement because of what he could potentially do with the basketball team as well. So again, nothing's a guarantee. Nothing's a slam dunk. I don't talk about true freshmen very often unless they're like a starting quarterback or something like that, or Jamal Rule this year competing for the starting running back job. And I don't talk about recruits like I've talked about Ahmad very often. Again, to your point, Trey Taylor's the only one I could think of before I asked you the question. So we're going to go to break. I want to pose you a question. I want your answer when we come back, and I want to pose it to the text line. If Ahmad does commit, and the world doesn't end if he goes to LSU, okay? There's just reason for excitement and optimism if he does commit. If he does commit, because you asked me this, and I've not actually given you my answer yet. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask the fans, and then I'll give my answer as well. Is it a bigger deal for the football team or the basketball team? What's that text line number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Text in, let us know the answer. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
The one and only Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena May 2nd and 3rd.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here at the Nebraska Lottery, we love introducing new games, and our latest is truly 1 in a million. It's a new lotto game called Millionaire for Life, and it's the kind of game you dream about. The top prize is $1 million a year for life, with a second prize of $100,000 a year for life. Tickets are $5 with drawings every day. So visit your favorite Nebraska Lottery retailer and play Millionaire for Life today and start dreaming big again. Millionaire for Life. Top prize odds 1 in 22 million.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again, something in the orange tells me you'll never come.
Saturday, April 25th, Memorial Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Kings of Leon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets are on sale now at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy and warm. An afternoon high near 85. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms, the low around 54. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with a high near 76. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. We're having quite the conversation here in between breaks. We should just leave the mics on. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't leave the mics on all the time. But we should. We have a lot of great convos during the commercial breaks. Before we get to the text line, before we get to your thoughts, is it bigger for football? Is it bigger for basketball? All right, I do want to give a shout out. Good friends, good partners of the show. Culligan is a former Husker and an NFL player. I am a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery. Jake, did you know? They start at home. That's why you should make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers. Jake, how are your showers lately?
Oh, not too bad. But
cleaner dishes. What's up?
Could be better.
Cleaner dishes. How are your dishes? Are you the dishwasher of the house?
I have a dishwasher.
There's a joke sitting right there that I'm not going to touch. You mean the appliance, correct?
That's correct.
That's where I was going with that. Cleaner dishes, and it protects my water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. By the way, I've turned into the pseudo dishwasher at my house because it's supposed to be my kids, and somehow it's never done. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottle quality water right at my tap. It helps me when I need to wash the dishes. I'm just going to be honest with you, or when I need great tasting water. It is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Check them out at CulliganLincoln.com. Again, Culligan of Lincoln, water you love. Go Big Red. I do believe, all right, we have to confirm this, but coaches can start in-person recruiting within the week, isn't it? Man, if so, confirm that or deny that for me there, Jake. But Hoiberg and Rule, I got to imagine they'd be two of the first coaches. How many people have gotten an in-person visit from the head football coach and basketball coach at the university at the same time? You think they'd ever do that?
That'd be quite the sell. I would hope so.
And so a shout out to Andy Jurassic. He did remind me, Luke Sorensen. Like I said, there's other tight ends in that room, but Luke Sorensen's a true freshman tight end that Dana Holgerson's brought up multiple times. So, I mean, if you're going to have a 12, potentially 12 personnel, offense down the road, if that is what they do at some point, and who knows, probably won't, but maybe they will. Speaking in definitive terms here, Jake, you need some depth is my point. But they do like Luke Sorensen's for this fall. Obviously, Lindenmeyer is a projected starter. Carter Nelson, I can't wait to see what type of impact he can make. He should be fully healthy at this point. But football or basketball, what are people saying? If he commits, which program is it a bigger deal for?
Let's look on the text line here. Mailman says basketball. We are needing an athletic big man. 1922 says football. 5626 has a message, a longer message than I thought it was. So I'm gonna have to read that before I bring it to air. But yeah, it looks like we're kind of split here.
Didn't somebody say we're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, or we're going to be that again or something?
Yeah, there was that thought too.
All right. You may be right. But you never know. We'll see what happens. If somebody said, Adam, where do you think he's going to go? I've exchanged DMs with him in the past, and he agreed to come on air. I don't know if you ever knew this because he never, I told you, but then it didn't work out, unfortunately. It changed last minute. But that's the end of my insight with Ahmad Hudson. I'm just going to be blunt with you. And that was like about this time last year. So it's been a while. If somebody said, where do you think he's going to go? I'm just going to be real. If Nebraska wins 9 or 10 games this year, I'm allowed to flip my answer. But LSU is a team that's going to be preseason top 10 in the college football playoff conversation. And right now, the over-under win total for Nebraska is at 5.5. So a lot can change between now and then. But I'd give the slight edge right now to the home state team, which is LSU at this point in time. But again, I don't have any firsthand info with Ahmad Hudson. That's just me trying to put myself in his shoes. What would your prediction be? And did you say which one you thought it was bigger for? Which program it's bigger for if we were to get him?
Yeah, I didn't say it yet. And I think a lot of us are kind of feeling that home state, thing could happen. Also, it's not just the home states. It's LSU. LSU's kind of throwing some money around. So that feels big for them. But, it's really tough. I mean, if I answer it, it's not, it's not that it's a strong way one way or the other, because it could be huge for both. Just the level of recruit he is. I think that he would be among the highest recruits and maybe the highest above even Bryce McGowan's in Nebraska basketball history, right there, kind of in that conversation. So that's kind of let you know where it'd be in basketball terms. And in football, though, I mean, how often does Nebraska get 5 stars? It's tough to get, those top 25 type of players too. So, it's you're splitting hairs here. I would probably side. It's only because I think maybe you could see freshmen generally impacting the floor a little bit more in basketball than football, just because the immediate benefit might slide to basketball. Again, with this very, very small difference there. But that's probably where it's at. But I mean, he could be, he could go out there and be in a great tight end from the get-go in college football too. So, I could be wrong in that evaluation.
If you're going from impact on the team, it's basketball, because one player can have more of an impact on the game than in football, unless you're the quarterback. Okay, so there's 11 people on the field on a football field. In basketball, there's only 5. There's a reason. If you've got one of the best players in the world, you're probably going to make a deep run in the NBA playoffs every single year. But if we're talking from a fan perspective, I'm going to say football, because basketball's got a lot of traction, but football is the thing that's been the most talked about sport here for 70, 80, 1,000 years. So if the football team can elevate its play and elevate its level, there's a reason, like the head football coach is getting paid $8-9 million a year. And I know Hoiberg's, doing really, really, really well, but football is something that's been the most talked about thing when it comes to the state of Nebraska, especially in sports, but maybe in general, nationally, more so than any other thing. And if the football team can start to play better, that's going to raise the elevation and level of everything. And that's with much love and respect to basketball. Because basketball did something similar this past year and got Nebraska talked about on a national level like it hadn't been talked about, or in a way it hadn't been talked about ever. I just think football is a little bit different, in my humble opinion. I just quickly Googled, and it's all the names that I thought of. But the highest ranked recruits Nebraska's ever brought in. Do you remember who they are by chance? You don't have to get them in order. But, huh?
For football?
Yeah.
I know Marlon Lucky's always near the top.
He's number 1.
Dylan Raio's got to be up
number
there
2. Number 3 would be impressive if you get it.
Is this the tight end that got hurt in like the early 2000s?
Chris Septak, Millard West out of Omaha. I met him. One of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. Yeah. It's like legit, one of the nicest dudes. You're doing great. You just listed the top 3. Keep going.
I've looked at these lists before.
So have I.
Depending on the site, Aaron Green, the running back, would be.
He is 4. Okay. You're just going right down the list here. Who's number 5?
Baker Steinkuhler.
You nail it. Who's 6?
Now I'm running out of names.
I'll give you a hint. When I say his name, you will be like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Dominic Sue?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Here's a hint. 7 and 8. Neither one of them have played it down yet in a game for Nebraska, but they will be Huskers or are Huskers. Okay. One or the other.
Trey Taylor?
Close. According to this list, he's not there yet.
Okay.
Think non-quarterbacks, non-offensive skill position guys. Defensive skill position
Danny
guys.
Odom?
Yes. Okay, you skipped over one guy.
Okay.
But Danny Odom is what? Hold on, what was Sue? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sue was 6. So you went to 8. You know who 7th is?
Will play for the Huskers. Has not yet.
Committed to Nebraska right now. I can't give it away much more. Same class as Trey Taylor. You're just blanking because you know who it is. Tory Pittman.
Okay.
You know who it is. You're just blanking. That happens to us.
Yep.
All right, a guy that I played with is 9th. I actually played with some. I played with Septak. I played with Sue. I played with some of these guys. I played with Lucky. I actually played with a lot of those guys. Holy cow. Now that I look at the list.
Callahan could recruit.
Yes.
Is that part of it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a kid that Callahan recruited from Omaha. DB. His older brother played running back here.
Grigsby.
Yep, Courtney Grigsby.
Wow, that's pretty high for him.
Dude, you are doing good. Okay, the next individual, I'd be surprised if you get it. When you hear the name, you'll be like, oh, yeah, but thinking of it on your own, maybe not. Maybe you will. I wouldn't. Well, actually, I would. And here's the only hint I'm going to give you, and it's a terrible hint.
Okay.
Because it tells me the exact answer, but it's not going to help you at all.
Okay.
He's the first player I ever interviewed 12 years ago. And he was a recruit commit at the time when I first started covering Husker sports. My very first interview ever. I remember like it was yesterday. I was so nervous, which was silly because he was the one being interviewed, and he played wide receiver.
Tyjon Lindsey?
Close. Oh, no, actually, you got it. Tyjon Lindsey. I was looking down at the next one. Yeah, you got it. Tyjon Lindsey. Dude, you are nailing this. This is impressive.
Yeah, well, I did do the math. I needed those hints.
That's a good one. That's a tough one because most people forget about him.
Yeah.
Trey Taylor's next. We're just going to have fun with this. We're going to go. Oh, wow. The longer this list goes, the more these guys I played with and I know. This is crazy. Okay. So next on this list is a guy who started a lot of games on the offensive line, got hurt, but played multiple years here. I mean, absurdly recently.
Okay.
Class of 2020. Just finished playing here not long ago.
Benhart?
Turner Corcoran.
Corcoran. Okay, the other one. I always put those two together.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not recall this name. Jason Richenberger?
No, do not recall that too well.
Class of 2000. I don't recall that name at all. Okay. Well, we've talked about the next guy quite a bit. Once he's healthy, I can't wait to see what he does as a tight end.
Carter
Nelson. This guy, one of the most physically talented offensive linemen out of the state of Minnesota. Well, he's from the state of Minnesota. One of the most physically talented offensive linemen I've ever seen in my life. I legit watched him at 6'7", one of our testing days after we had done like winter conditioning or summer conditioning. At about 315 pounds, I legit watched him run a 4.89.
Leiden Murtha?
Leiden Murtha. One of the freakiest athletes I've ever seen as an offensive lineman in my life. The other one would be Richie Incognito. Those two, both those guys. With all due respect, both a little off their rocker as well. The next guy was a linebacker while I was here. Man, Callahan could recruit. Holy cow.
That's right.
He was a linebacker while I was here, post Corey McEwen. I believe he was after Corey.
Okay.
Pretty sure it was after Corey. Corey was 2 years younger than me, though, so he might have been the same age.
These are high school, so it could be like Steve Octavian.
Class of 2005. Yeah, he was after Corey. Initials are PH. Or, I'm sorry, PD.
Philip Dillard?
Philip Dillard.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, I'm not even giving you great hints and you're getting these. All right, defensive tackle, a year older than me. The quickest, the most agile defensive tackle I've ever seen in my life, and that includes the NFL. He's out of Omaha, class of 2001. Creighton Prep. A great Greek mythology name for his first name.
Man,
Titus Adams.
Titus Adams, okay, yeah.
Well, the next one, very, very talented, number one recruit in the state of Nebraska, transferred to Minnesota, and then he transferred again.
Malachi
Coleman. All right.
Where is he now?
I don't remember. He hit the portal, and I don't know where he landed. We probably talked about it, but I don't recall. Running back, set the world on fire as a freshman, came in my same class, 2002, and I have not kept up with him since.
This David Horn?
Yeah.
Freshman David Horn was awesome.
Dude. All right. Should we keep going? I think we got to go to a break.
Yeah, we do.
Let's see. As we keep going down this list, Wandale Robinson's on here.
Okay.
I mean, like two slots later. Thomas Fedoni, 2 slots later. Grant Bricks, who's on the team right now. Xavier Betts, Cortez Mills, Dawson Merritt. I'm kind of skipping up and down here. Adrian Martinez. A lot of these guys are recent Huskers, man. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hog Wild's giant sub baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to power your progress, so you can give everything you've got, all for just 1 cent down. Whether you want to get the most out of our best-in-class equipment or go all in with free fitness training, our trainers are ready to help you get stronger than ever before. Take your workout to the next level at Planet Fitness. Join the club today for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal extended to April 16th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy and warm. An afternoon high near 85. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms, the low around 54. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, probably sunny skies with a high near 76. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Here at the Nebraska Lottery, we love introducing new games, and our latest is truly 1 in a million. It's a new lotto game called Millionaire for Life, and it's the kind of game you dream about. The top prize is $1 million a year for life, with a second prize of $100,000 a year for life. Tickets are $5 with drawings every day. So visit your favorite Nebraska Lottery retailer and play Millionaire for Life today and start dreaming big again. Millionaire for Life. Top prize odds 1 in 22 million.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
This is the Adam Carriker Show. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake has to go pay off a bet to Kenny Wilhite, so I'm joined at this moment in time by the Wyminator, Nick Wyman. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad. Blessed to be in here. Obviously, been listening in the back, do a lot of the clipping for your show throughout the day. Get all that up and running. Bach does a really good job. Bach's a real MVP. I think Bach is a real MVP for what he does across the board, not only with your show, one-on-one with DP, Bach and the Black Shirt, which will be after this. But yeah, blessed to be in here and be a part of it. And you were open for it. Obviously, it's your show, and I'm graced to be here. So, hey, love to see it.
I'm happy to have you in here. And Bach is the MVP. It's funny, when I started, hey, Adam, you're going to have this time slot in this show. Who do you want your producer to be? There are lots of great options, but Bach was an easy one to pick out as well. All right, my man, you and I were chatting during the break as you were getting settled in. And you are specifically intrigued by the basketball recruiting side of this because, as you mentioned to me during the break, a lot of times, diehard basketball fans might keep up to date on recruiting and whatnot throughout the year. But a lot of people kind of tune in maybe September, October, get familiar with the roster, whereas football recruiting tends, even still to this day with the portal and everything else, tends to be followed year round. So talk to me about what is intriguing to you the most about the portal and basketball recruiting at this point in time.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like basketball. Usually the season ends in March in the past. And it's like, all right, that's the end of the basketball season for Nebraska. We'll pick it back up in October. And then usually you don't hear much about recruiting. Maybe you hear news about a guy signing, this freshman's coming in or Nebraska landed this transfer. But then outside of that, it's like, in October, you're looking up the roster, figuring out the 15 guys in the roster. Today, obviously this entire week, Braden Frager coming back, Price Sanford listing that he's coming back yesterday. Caleb Jacobson this morning announcing that he's coming back. That's exciting. Like, I lived here in Lincoln my entire life, and usually, like I said, basketball is usually only brought up when the season comes around. Maybe they're playing Doan or somebody like that in an exhibition game, and who's on the roster? Who's the 15 guys out Nebraska's trotting out there for the basketball season? And that's unprecedented that you're talking about putting together a roster in April. Usually, like you said, football recruiting, just how football is. It's going to be talked about year in, year out, 365 days a year. But Nebraska basketball, kind of flipping the script and having their, people talking about their roster, and obviously getting Sam Orm, a guy from Belmont, from the portal. People are talking about him, excited. Obviously, Birthday Buchengel entering the transfer portal for whatever reason that is. Obviously, good luck to him and wherever he goes. But the big smart thing about the portal is if, the money's not there, Burke can come back. That's the big thing about the portal. So it's very interesting how people are really clamoring for Nebraska basketball and wanting more. I mean, the season ended, a month ago, and people are already clamoring for next year. I'm very excited to see where, Fred Hoiberg and this group can go, because obviously you're getting more revenue. You have the backing. You're bringing in a talented roster. It's interesting to say the least.
I'm excited to see what this team can do again next year. I've had a lot of people, and admittedly, a lot of them are not Nebraska fans. Oh, they're not going to be that good again next year. They can't do what they did again next year. I'll point it out again, what I pointed out at the end of last season, and it hurts because the last game was Iowa. Set that aside. We were incredibly close to going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And honestly, we were on the friendliest side of the bracket. You get to the Elite Eight, you play a team like Illinois, who's very, very good, but a team we had beaten before. So you never know how things might line up. Now, in addition to that, the biggest thing they're doing is they're bringing just about everybody back. The number one thing has to be roster retention, and then adding the appropriate pieces depending on what you need that year, that particular year for that particular team. And I think Hoiberg, he's a master at doing that. The addition they've already made, it's a tall outside shooter. That's what he does. That's who he adds. When you get guys coming back like Jacobson and Frager and Sanford, that's huge because you expect them to take steps of improvement going forward next year. I absolutely 100% believe they can make a Sweet 16 run again next year. And that's even if we don't get the friendly side of the bracket. That's if we get a side of the bracket with Arizona or Duke or whatever. And hopefully we play them later on in the tournament next year. But I still absolutely believe this can be a Sweet 16 type team. And I might be crazy. I think they're actually going to be better next year. We're going to miss certain guys like Sam Hoiberg, guys like that, Bierke, obviously. And who knows, maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't. But everybody else is going to be that much better, a year better. And then we're going to keep adding pieces. Like a Sweet 16 run, I think is very fair to expect for next year. I know we got to get out of here, but what are your final thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, yeah, like Price Sanford coming back. Like obviously, they put a little, Fred Hoiberg put out a little statement in the, on the social media, Twitter, Facebook, everything, kind of like he's betting on himself. Like he had interest in the NBA, but obviously, he's betting on himself to come back and has unfinished business. I know he only played, 35 games with the Huskers, and it was a fun 35 games this past year with him on the roster, obviously coming from Iowa and making that jump. Now you get another 35 games. And I'm excited to see where he can go, because bringing a guy like that back, guy who's obviously, a veteran now in college basketball, a guy who you can lean on, because Nebraska's going to bring in some guys who are coming from elsewhere, kind of like last year. Like Brink Mass came from a different place. You have Jamarcus Lawrence, who came back. You're going to miss him as well. Sam Hoiberg, not enough said about that guy. Academic All-American, though. First one since Siobhan Shields for Nebraska basketball. So
good point. I love that.
You have that as well. But yeah, I'm excited. And like you said, like the sky's the limit. And, it wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Like a lot of, you see in college basketball all the time, teams get to the Sweet 16, and then it's like, oh, that was the one time they'll make it. And then maybe in a couple of years. But what Fred Hoiberg and the staff are doing, I think, is just the roster retention. You're adding in guys who can scheme fit. I think it's very exciting across the board to see what comes out for Nebraska basketball. And you got to wait till October for a couple of exhibition games, and then the season will hit the ground running, and counting down the days already.
When I look to see if a team can repeat or duplicate in this scenario, duplicate what they did the year before the upcoming season, a lot of times, how did games unfold? Was there a little bit of lucky breaks at the end? Was there some unusual things that happened? And who did you play? The Big Ten is unequivocally the best basketball conference in America this year. We came out of the Big Ten. We were the number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Obviously, we would have liked to have made a deeper run into the Big Ten tournament, but we did those things, and we played legit competition, and they earned those things. And so I am looking forward to next year, not only the guys coming back, the pieces that we do add along the way, but it's a proven team that's played a lot of quality teams this year and going into next year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me, Nick. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bone.